Maybe you desire to come to Mexico because inside yourself you feel that sensation that Mexico is that place for you because you need it. Maybe because in Mexico are something who that you need to find. Yes. Maybe because Mexico connect with you, resonate with you. Or maybe because in your country you living a lot stress, a lot worries about what would happen in my country and I need to move here. Because yes, I am this nationality. I love my country, but I am worried. I need to go to other place who is resonate with you, with me, and Mexico have it. I need to come there. Okay, you feel so? This video is for you because in this video I'm gonna share with you certain points what is very important before it comes to Mexico. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I remember my first times when I went to another country. In my case, I was so scared. It's completely normal. But I wanna be completely honest with you because that country it wasn't for a stay for longer time, for living in that place for longer time. No, in that country was only for a convention or convention and presentation for someone who was expert in something. I know in that moment it was important for me to go there. Of course, in that country, the population speak my language. It was so easy for me to communicate with anyone if something happens. Yes, but in your case, I know this completely different because it's another language. It's another belief, behaviors, cultures, another style life. I understand that. And I don't blame you if you feel that emotions, those thoughts. I don't blame you if you feel worries about make that decision. But return my experience, apply certain points who honestly were completely useful for me. Apply those things or those points in my own country. Why? Because I know it's completely necessary understand your context. Yes, we are humans. We need connections. We speak with someone. Yes, we need to be safe. We need to feel that comfortable moment in our life. It's completely normal, guys. But before make decisions to move to other country, you need to apply the first point. Planning your journey. I remember this one. For example, before make that decisions to come in that country, who that country was Argentina, I had that idea. In Argentina, I don't want to take Uber or maybe taxi. I don't want to be like a common tourist who visit and place. I want to involve in the population. I want to involve in that new city, in that new country. That city was Buenos Aires. However, my first point in this planning your journey were watching a lot videos about that city. Okay, were know more about Buenos Aires. What is the typical public transport? What is the typical food? What is the typical thoughts about the people who live in that place? What is the safe place? What are not the safe place or dangerous place? And between what is those entertainment spot in that city. I saw a lot videos about that country, about that city. I saw a lot videos. I saw videos about how can I move in the subway, because in those days I was living in Mexico City. I now move in the subway, but in that day I know that Buenos Aires have their own subway. Okay, I saw a lot video. What is the commons? Stations, station subways, about what those stations would be encountered in that station. What is close about that station? You know it. You follow my idea. Okay. Well, it's important for you know it. Apply that when I made that decision to living in Mexico City, because I remember a lot. Maybe this experience is like you. I said at my parents about my idea to go to Mexico City. My parents always told me, "You are crazy. Mexico City is completely dangerous. It's insane." Yes, my parents one day told me like, something like this, because Mexican people outside to Mexico City, those Mexicans say you don't go to Mexico City because Mexico City is completely dangerous. You is it's not a good place. My friends said me the same, and people who consider, oh well, they are my best friends, the most important for me, tell me the same, told me the same. And of course, sometimes almost took those opinions, but inside myself, they were not enough for me, because my another side decided to go to Mexico City. It was the same in Argentina. Inside myself, I felt that sensation to go there, because in those days I knew that in that conference I would learn something completely important for my life. Yes, and I did. That conference changed my life. When I comes to Mexico, I understand the life. I understand when you're trying to be independent in your life. Yes. However, that is the first point. Playing in your journey, trying to see a lot content about that city. Please, what is the common food? What is the common thoughts about those people who living in there? What is the common behaviors? What is those safe neighborhood, dangerous neighborhoods? What is the cost life about that city? What is the average in salary about that city? And between another kinds of information who you need for yourself, because when you have information you feel more confident make that decisions. Yes, always I said that it's the same with immigration matters. If you know more about that information, you feel confident, and when you do this procedure for yourself, you feel confident because you know the information, you know what is possible and what is not possible. Okay, you know it. It's the same when you move to other city. Trying to become familiar in your brain those contents, that content about the city, about your preferred city. Because listen a lot podcast, I learned something. Your brain doesn't know if your visualization is true or false. Yes, is reality or not. Your brain take it like it is untrue, like it is the moment, is present for you. Yes. However, a lot of people say if you think in negative, your brain know that those kinds of thinking or thoughts are normal in your life, and you are starting to see negative moments in your life. Yes, your brain, if you try to say, I am, you know, unconfident person, unsure person, your brain believe in that because your brain doesn't understand if your thoughts or imaginations or visions are reality or not. Okay? However, when you saw a lot content about that city, your brain feel that connection with that city. Your brain trying to well, your brain know the city. And what happened when you are there? When you are there, physical, you feel completely familiar in that city. You feel that one day, or maybe you was there for a longer time because you know what is the public transport, what is the common behavior for the people, what is the common food. You know when you where you need to go, if you need to go in any place or a specific place. You know it because before you work in your brain, it become familiar that place. You follow that point? Honestly, use this point. The second point is involve with local people. This is completely important for you because maybe if you don't speak Spanish, trying to enroll in those kinds of event for partner exchange who they share with you Spanish and you share with them English, and because a lot Mexican people trying to learn your language. It's the same for myself. Sometimes I took that decision to go in those event exchange meetings and trying to know people who know this language, my go language. And yes, between I know that language and I know the people. But when you are able to speak my language, my recommendation for you is involve with the local people. Now, if you speak Spanish, you are able to speak Spanish, involve with the local people. Why? Because the local people know how works in that city. It's the only accurate information for you. I know a lot resident who they live in those city, they have more experience than you living in that city. They can share with you their perspective, yes, because they have more experience than you. But you need to understand something. For Mexican people, when saw someone who is white, have blue eyes, blonde hair, is completely different in rask than us. For us, is a foreigner. Yes, no matter what, if that person is a resident, he have that experience in Mexico, but for us, is a foreigner. Yes, Mexican people don't understand if you are resident here in Mexico. The real Mexican people are able to share with you what happened in Mexico. More if those Mexican people have experience to move in different places in my city, in my country. Believe me, because they understand how works that place. Mexican people about that preferred city who you decide to go, they will be able to share with you which neighborhood is good for you, which food is good for you, which people is good for you. Believe me that. Resident, they can share with you the experience, of course, but for Mexican people who deal with them, inside us, we think that that person is a foreigner, and I'm gonna treat you like a foreigner. Yes, it's not the same Mexican people treat Mexican people than foreign people. Okay, but when Mexican people know someone who the first trying to learn our language, and second trying to learn about our culture or about the city, those Mexican people are an open book. They share with you all the knowledge because we are like this. Always are friendly persons. I know there are another contrary Mexican people who they don't like foreigners people. Yes, I know it is. It's completely normal. Who not knows who is normal in another countries? Yes, it's completely normal. You find Mexican people who they don't like you, but you don't take it personally. It's normal. But there are more Mexican people who they will be your best friends. Okay? Consider that. The next point is be curious about your home city. Yes, guys, trying to be curious, trying to understand why the people have that behaviors, why the people sometimes roam like crazy people. Yes, trying to know why the people is very emotional, trying to understand why Mexican people love to give you a biggest hug when meet you in your first time, trying to understand that. Be curious about our culture, be curious about our normal traditions, behaviors. Yes, be curious, and believe me, you have a biggest advantages than other foreigners or others residents who always they spend their time with the same national people. Yes, national foreigners, they always have relationship with them, not with Mexican people, because of course they have experience making relationship with Mexican people, but only for, I don't know, maybe for procedures, maybe because in the restaurant know someone or met someone, or maybe because in the convenience market you speak with Mexican people. Okay, but it's not the same when you have relationships with real Mexican people. You spend your time and understand them. Yes, you have friends, Mexican people, because you are curious to know more about this culture. And my last point is don't give up. When I made that decision to go to Buenos Aires or Mexico City, I told you in the beginner, my parents, my friends, and people who they love me always told me, don't go in that place. It's completely dangerous. Hey, why you will go to other country? Maybe you will lose in that country. No, no, no. Stay in Mexico. I remember that day. But I told you, in my other side, I was eager to live that experience. And when I did it, when I live in Mexico City, when I understand the people, when I made friends in that beautiful city, everything in my life right now and nowadays change. Why? Because you have another perspective. You have experience how is living in other place, that in that place, no matter what, if that place speaks the same language or not, but you are a curious person. You are that person who you don't stop yourself in if something who is necessary for you. I told you, be resident is no stuck your life living for longer time in one country. Yes, in Mexico, you could be a permanent resident, but you are able to trip to other country as resident. Yes, and stay 1 year or 2 years in another country. Of course, permanent, because remember, in temporary resident, you need to renew that. But when you are permanent resident, you are able to trip to other country, stay in that country for 6 months or 1 year or 2 years, and comes to Mexico again and continue living your experience here in Mexico because you don't start your life here. That is my point, guys. But don't give up about your Mexican dream. Don't give up. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope, honestly, those points would be completely useful for you in your Mexican dream. Remember, don't forget to subscribe in this channel, thumbs up the bell, and don't lose interesting videos in this channel because my content is about my experience as a Mexican person. Yes, no like a foreigner or resident because I grew here. I know my country. I have that opportunity to know a lot stays here in my country. Before to leave, I'm gonna recommend with you this video because in this video I share with you 6 reasons about why you need to know if you want to live here in Mérida. Thank you so much again. Nos vemos pronto.